Like this is what I try to reinforce with my seed, right? Like when she like do good any like on tests or this and that like that, I might get her something out the blue. She be like, well, I say, yo, cause I want to show you that, yo, like you do what you do, you're supposed to be rewarded, cause that's what happens in real life. The more you understand, the more you move, the better quality that you have. So if you reinforce with children, hey, like your academic excellency is paramount to your success. That's your job, you know, and you're gonna get rewarded for that because, like, yo, because we don't like we just expect our seeds to do stuff without you know what I mean, reinforcing the rewards of it. We are quick to give the justice of something, but we are not equally quick to give the rewards. And we say what? You know what I mean? Penalty what? Award what? Justice what? How is that justice if all you get is a penalty? Right? And I think that moving away from that type of mind state and reinforcing excellence in children. Like my daughter, they just sent me a video. She's swimming right now. She had her swimming lessons doing a butterfly. I can barely do the doggy paddle, right? Because we supposed to pour into our seed children, better than what we have based off the understanding we have, so they can take our understanding and then grow their own understanding, right?
I'm 100% with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm only saying that see what you manifesting is rooted in your values, God. Like you come here and you building based on your values and your principles. And I just see in in the cipher at large, not in this particular cipher us, but in the cipher at large, there are people with contrasting values and principles. And this is where we have to really like I either they're either worthy of being taught or they're worthy of being exiled from the cipher.
They don't have to be exiled from the cipher because you know why? Because at the end of the day, we a culture, right? And inside of a culture, you have different currents, right? I don't have to rock with that current to respect that it exists.
No. I don't mean that. I mean so more so. I respect that, but okay, that doesn't belong here in this particular cipher. It's like when you have a home, that's a cipher, right? A person, place, or thing. So you have your cipher. There's just certain things that belong in your cipher, and then there's certain things that just don't. Like, okay, I respect that, but that can't come in my cipher.
Of course not. That's why they do it. Like when I see the whole culture, right? I remember one time, and I was reading a power paper. This had to be like in Born Equality, '96, right? And in it was saying something was doing the parliament. Somebody got up, I guess it was a disagreement, and they said half the parliament left with them, right? So I was like, oh, that's, in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm expecting to see some more, bills going on, right? I didn't see that. So I don't think that we all supposed to live under the same understanding, under the same rules, under the same regulation, right? Because whatever
certain things are more proper. Certain things are proper for certain ciphers.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
So I'm saying that this is why it's incumbent for like minds. This is why like one thing I like about the PRT, it's a thinking degree. I think it's an open source the way it's written, but you're supposed to be progressive, resourceful, and a thinker. If you can't deal with the 3 P's, which is being practical, progressive, and productive, we don't have nothing in common, right? So like, and if you choose not to live like that, that's on you. But water finds its own level. So I'm going to find the water in the wells that I want to drink from, and hopefully some people want to drink from my well, and then we can build, right? I think we spend too much time on what doesn't exist versus nurturing and cultivating what does exist, right? So it's like, because it's a lot of people in our culture that's like, they really are ignorant, right? So it's like, they ignorant, they don't have certain skill sets, right? Why I'm gonna waste my time, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, because if you a certain age and if you ignorant at a certain age and you haven't developed your certain skill sets at a certain age, you have no use. Regardless of how you see yourself, you have no use. Like, if all you want to do is tell me stories, like, how many times I'm gonna hear the same story?
Right.
You know what I mean? And how many times I'm gonna hear the same stories from different perspectives of that same story?
That's just people who love the history, want to keep telling that history.
What?
Passing that history down.
Listen. I have history too. I have history. I just turned 50, so I'm just getting to my 50 history. I have 40-year-old history. I have 30-year-old history. I have 20-year-old history. I have 10-year-old history, and I have baby history, right? So it's like, the fact that I'm constantly living, I'm making history.
Yeah.
Right? So I can't get stuck on, hey, this is how, if I just tell you all the stories about a particular period of me, you're going to see me in a different way. Right? You be like, damn, I didn't know he get rid of like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, because I have more experiences. That's like me talking about this one girl that I had in '93, and it's 2025. I haven't had no other experience with women since then. That doesn't make sense to me, right? Like, you know what I mean? That doesn't make sense to me, right? History class is over here, right? You still got math, you still got science, you still got English, you still got other things that makes you well-rounded as a person. And that's called development, right? If you telling me about the highlight of your life was when you was a teenager in your early 20s, that means you ain't did nothing, right? You didn't do anything. So why didn't you do anything? That's a different level of conversation. And I don't be want to hear it. Me personally, I don't be want to hear it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and people like, oh, you need to walk with this God, here, this. I'm like, you making assumptions that I haven't walked with certain gods, because I don't mimic shit, right? Whatever was given to me, I did the knowledge to it, and I filed it in my memory decks, right? That's it.
Well, it's children that do the most mimicking. You know what I mean? Those are the ones, like, when they were children, they were amongst these great gods, and they got this history, and they mimicked them, and then they grew into their own person, and
supposed to grow into your own person.
Supposed to grow into your own person, and begin to write your own history. Yeah. But not everybody's doing it. A lot of people are repeating history.
And that's on them, right? But it's not, I'm not going to be a slave to that. Right? So I think that when you're really a thinker, when you really stand on fortitude, when you really stand and you really about something, people see that, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, they might isolate you. They might say, I ain't dealing with that God right there for whatever reasons, right? But they can't never say, yo, the God now cipher, right? So I ain't gonna be bullied, right? That's not gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, the best thing to do is, you stay in your square, I stay on my square.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
You know what I mean? Because I'm going to do the knowledge, and I'm going to respect, right? I don't see nothing in that first degree in supreme mathematics that says like or dislike. It says respect, right? And I think sometimes the problem we have in this culture, other people don't respect where other people are at. It's like, you got to do it my way, or you not right and exact. That's ludicrous. That's ludicrous, man. You know what I mean? That's lunacy. You know what I mean? And it's like, because it goes against the core value of two things. Your understanding is the best understanding, and understanding come in time, right? So maybe what you trying to give a person, they don't have the understanding for that, right? Or they just don't care about that. Or they already have their understanding based off of their experiences, based off their researches, based off of who they built with, right? In the fundamental development. And you have to respect that. Now, once you say you can't respect that, then you create embellishment, right? So, because if I create bad blood with you, I'm creating embellishment. Because I'm trying to force my way on you. I'm trying to force my ideology on you. That's creating embellishment, right? People think talking loud, talking over talking people, that means that they point getting across. No, that just means to me that you might be a fool, right? Because wise men supposed to be able to have discourse in a civilized manner, right? Men don't raise their voice at other men, right? Once you raise your voice at a man, the conversation is over with. Because you no longer, you're trying to overpower me with sound. And if a person like me, I'm laid back naturally. So I ain't with all of that aggressive type talk, right? You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna feel offended, right? And then I might ask you, like, what is this really about? Right? Because I've talked to many people, many different levels, many different understandings, and it's always been civilized. So if we build it and it's not civilized, well, what are you talking about now? What's your objective or your agenda, right? Because if you don't respect what I'm saying, then it's no need for us to share, right? And that's just the bottom line. But like, maturity supposed to come in time, right? Maturity supposed to also come in experience. And if you've been through a lot of different things, your level of maturity is going to be different, right? Just like somebody that's really been violent, right? As a younger person, they're not trying to be violent as an older person because they know what it looked like. People that fake violent, they still trying to be tough. They still trying to be something. A person that whatever you said you did or trying to do, some people already done, right? And they realize that who did I apply this violence against? Not intended with somebody that looked at just like you, right? So now when you got knowledge of self, you got like, yo, how can I put myself in a position to willingly hurt somebody that look like me? Because we disagree. That doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Because if you say you get busy, I don't need to say I get busy. It is what it is. Right? It's going to be a problem. And how is that harmonious? How is that building? And I think that's what it is, right?
You must do your own research, as I did.
INFMEGA did this.